Welcome to Crime Curious. I'm Charnel.
I'm Megan.
And we have a special guest in the studio today, Megan. Our friend Heather is back to tell us part 2 of her story. If you have not listened to part 1 from last week, I recommend that you go back because you have missed, everything, basically, up until this point of Heather's life. It's a very profound story. So I definitely suggest you go back at least one, listen to that, and then come back to this episode. So we're just going to pick up right where we left off, if that's okay. Heather, you had just graduated. You were with a guy, moved to Kansas because he was in the military. You were pregnant and about to have your daughter, Rachel.
Yep. So I'm Heather. Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. I met what was to be my first husband, and he was in the military. And so he was very messed up. He was deployed, and it definitely messed with him and had some severe PTSD.
Well, sure, because now we're after 9/11.
Yeah. This was in 2003.
Yep.
So this was when they all went over for Osama bin Laden, that stuff.
Yep.
This is when my second child was born.
Okay, yeah. And so when he got back, I always gloss over this too, but when he got back, so we had our baby, and looking back, he did not like that I was giving her more attention than him.
Trigger, right?
Bizarre.
Red flag.
Yeah. And so I left her one day with him while I just went to Target. I just needed a break. And while I was gone, he punched her in the back. She was 3 months old.
Oh my God.
4 months old. 4 months old. And so she was, and I didn't know about any of this. So I send her to daycare, and they see a fist bruise on her back, and of course
because 3 months old, just so you guys aren't aware, and we all work in the field now, 3 months old can't get that type of a bruise on their back.
They're not mobile.
Blunt force trauma.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So she was
I give you credit for the fact that you didn't end up in prison. Yeah, and that, or that you're not. But I mean, truly, not sure how I would have been able to react to finding out
Heather
someone
was
punched my kid.
desensitized to trauma at this point.
Yeah.
This is one more fucking thing.
Yeah.
Just like,
I should have seen it coming. Yeah.
Sounds right.
I don't know that you could have, love.
I know. I if I would have, I would never have left her there.
Hindsight,
You know
right?
what I
Well,
mean? Yeah, of course. And I mean, he was physically abusive to me, but I never thought, I don't know. Because I deserved it. You know, that's how the victims are, or survivors are.
Of course, but also you're until it happens, your brain's never just going to go to, he's going to harm my 3-month-old.
Yeah. His 3-month-old, right?
Yes.
Like his own child.
No.
Yeah.
So you don't have to answer this, but just in terms of, in light of what you do now in your multiple jobs, which we're going to get to at the end of this, but did you consider it domestic violence when he first started physically harming you?
No, I didn't know. No, because to me, that's like you're getting the crap beat out of you, or you're being knocked unconscious, or you're being...
Sure.
And it wasn't really that. It was a lot of verbal, and it was a lot of the gaslighting and manipulation and all that. There were some physical times. The worst was I was pregnant, and he kicked me in the stomach.
Okay.
But not hard enough for anything to happen. Like, I never went to the hospital. I never had, I didn't have the black eye.
Even now, you're still justifying
I am.
Did
Yeah.
you hear those words?
I did, yeah.
She recognizes when she does it,
I
though.
do, yeah. But when to your question, I did. That's why I don't think I thought it was as bad as
consider
it
it.
was. Because one, I mean, I clearly was asking for it, because that's how they make you feel.
It is.
And then because it wasn't what you see on TV.
Yep.
I didn't have a black eye.
So it's
I
not
didn't have
real.
a black eye. I didn't no
It's not
broken
really-
bones.
Is he
anything
disparaging you at this point in terms of the verbal abuse?
Yes.
Is he making you feel less than?
Yes, and he picked right
ugly,
up on
unwanted?
Yes, he knew all about the mom stuff. So the worst part was he'd say the same things when he was sober. Why would you leave me? You're never going to find anyone else that'll love you. You know, that classic textbook crap. But when you're not in it, you don't, or when you're in it and you don't know anything different. Or
Well, and we've educated the public a lot better now, too,
Well,
though.
and again, you're just like a normal sized girl at this point who happens to be 9 months pregnant when he decides to kick you in the stomach.
Yeah.
So you have a 3-month-old baby.
Yep.
Daycare calls. Do they call you or do they call law enforcement?
Oh, they call law enforcement.
Of
Law enforcement
course.
called me.
And they said
No one believed me. Yeah, so we go to the police station essentially, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know. Of course they don't believe me, and I know they don't believe me, but I don't know. Like, I truly didn't know. So she was so little that I still bathed her in the kitchen sink. And I did give her a bath that night, but the whole time I had my hand essentially on her back, but she's in front of me and I'm bathing her. I never looked at her. But I do think that was a God thing. I don't know what I would have done if I saw it.
Right.
I surely probably wouldn't have taken her to daycare, but also like something had to, you can't just not Yeah. You can't just ignore that.
Heather, if you sit back and take a deep breath, I like to think that you would have quietly taken her to the hospital.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure I would have.
I think you would have. Yeah. I think I don't know that you would have said anything to him at that point.
Oh, no.
I think you would have just taken her to the hospital.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you.
Was it a very obvious bruise?
Really? Yeah, I think, yes, it was knuckle marks. I mean, it was very clear what happened. Yeah.
So I was putting myself in your position. I can't tell you when I was bathing my babies in the sink that I ever looked at their back, Heather.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because they're right there.
I washed it with the washcloth.
Yeah.
I did, because I remember the trauma.
Flip them around.
Yeah, putting them on their stomach, with the head right here, and then washing the back
with their little butt
cracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I did do that at times too.
I probably did that, but and that's what I mean. I didn't do it that time, and I think there was
actually. I have to take that back. I tried that once, and I was afraid of hurting their little peepees.
Oh, I had girls.
I didn't do that.
Didn't have peepees to wear.
Yeah, and my son, I just don't think I cared at that point. I'm like, it's not going to break off.
And he's fine.
Proven that it doesn't.
Fine.
They don't just break off.
Right. They don't just break off.
Thank God.
No matter how much they pull them, they don't just break off.
So they don't believe you. You're at the police station.
Yeah, we're at the police station. He ends up confessing that, it was like Law and Order. I keep referencing TV because that was my friend growing up with all this trauma.
That makes sense.
TV. He didn't lie. He didn't throw you under the bus.
Not at all. No, he told the truth. They came back in and told me, hey, he just admitted to everything. I had left to go to the store. I just wanted a little bit of time to myself.
Of course
I had just gotten back to work, I think, and I never left her just because I loved her so much. I just took her everywhere with me, but, I just wanted to run to Target.
Yep.
And she wouldn't stop crying, and he was playing a video game, and he was, obsessed with their computer games, and you can't just pause them. So it was always a big to-do if he was, hey, can you do this for me? Gotta wait till my game's over.
Throwing his fucking console right at the window.
I'm a different person now, but then, I know. If I could go back, the things I would tell her.
Right, of course.
But, and so he lost his temper and he punched her. And then, of course, she didn't stop crying.
Well, right.
And then he put her back. She had this little boppy thing on the couch, put her back on there. And I think he slapped her in the face. I can't remember. And then when I come in, she's
3
crying.
months old, guys.
She's crying. Her face is all red. I just think she's crying. I pick her up. She immediately stops crying. So I'm just like,
her safe person was there.
Yeah.
Mommy. And she knows your smell.
That's true. Yeah. So because he admitted to all of it, I still think they probably figured he was just covering for me. How could you not know? I feel like that's a lot of what we think in this field. How could you not know? Come on. Maybe not with that particular case. I don't know, but it's easy to judge. It's easy to be like, come on, Mom.
Judgment is the easiest emotion to pass over someone.
And police are always going to look at it for the most unfavorable towards you because they're looking from a protection
right,
purpose,
exactly.
Right? And
they
used to call that fail to protect, right?
Yep.
But it's because it's new or should have known.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
Because and you're thinking, should have known. I've never left her before.
Yeah.
She's brand new.
Yeah.
I leave one time for a couple of hours.
Yep.
I'd no evidence that and they should be able to see that, scientifically, forensically, that this is a new bruise. She doesn't have a history of broken bones.
Yeah.
Right?
No, nothing like that.
And he had been deployed, and this is his first time back since having a baby.
Yeah. So and so they put her in foster care for a week, but his brother and my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, they were also stationed there. So they were able to take her, and they must have believed me a little bit because they allowed me to stay with them. And I could be with her.
So we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Where she's legally removed for safety, but you're not a perpetrator, so you're allowed to stay.
And he could only have supervised visits.
Yep. Yeah.
And
so they did believe you then.
Yeah, I think
in order to make that.
It didn't feel like it at the time.
I know.
Just because we still had to go. I remember, I think about this stuff now with my profession. When I was sitting at the table, we were having a meeting with the worker and I don't know who else.
Family team meeting?
Yeah, a family team meeting essentially. And she sat there. Every time we would have a meeting, I thought I was going to get her back. So I was so misinformed. So I just thought we're going to meet and she's going to say, okay, you can have her back, and of course that never happened, but I didn't know that. So I'm every meeting I'm pumped, every court hearing I'm pumped, I'm going to get her back and not thinking. Gosh. And she sat in the chair eating Starbursts.
This is your worker?
Yes. Talking about how I'm not going to get my kid back and what have you done? And these very serious things, chomping on Starbursts.
Eating Starbursts?
I remember it happened yesterday. Yes.
That is so unprofessional.
It reminds me of somebody.
It does.
So just nonchalant about it. Oh my.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Inside
It's
joke.
okay.
I
It's okay.
apologize. We can take that out.
It's okay. Yeah, it's just so nonchalant about it. I was like, these are people's lives. And I try to remember that now with things when I'm working with victims or working with whatever, because these are people's lives, and this might just be another day in the job for you, but this is an important day for this person.
It is, exactly. They're going to remember.
Yeah, I do.
This day.
21 years later.
Yep.
And I still, her name was Rhonda.
Oh my gosh. Do better, Starburst Rhonda.
What did they want you to do? What was your plan? Had they given you a case service plan? Like, what was
I'm sure they
expected of
did.
you?
I don't really remember because it was mostly him. And I do remember that they
Were
gave
you
us,
still with him?
Yes. I was under the impression, I was made to believe that we needed to stay as a family unit and reintegrate the family, reunify.
Oh.
And
Oh
had
my
I
God.
left him, that was going to make things worse and longer. I don't know who told me that. I don't know why. I don't remember that.
That was the impression
That was the
upon
impression
you.
that I had.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, plus all my family's a million miles away. I don't have anyone other than his, which I was very close. Like his sister-in-law and I are like sisters still this day. Like
That's amazing.
I was very lucky to have them there, thankfully.
Okay.
But I didn't have anyone. So like he's all I had. I had a really good job. I worked for the federal government. Like I had this amazing job and it was just awful. And so I don't really remember. It was basically just, I don't think he ever got unsupervised visits because we had two things going on. We had the abuse and neglect case, but he was in the military, so there was like a military.
I'm
punishment.
very familiar with the
I
military
forgot about that.
tribunal,
Yes, he
and-
was court-martialed.
correct.
And then was
Dishonorably discharged.
They
or
did,
did
they gave him a
do-
general.
Okay.
I don't really know why, but they gave him a general, and then he
because
had
he
to
wasn't
go to,
criminally prosecuted. It
Yes.
was a civil case.
Yes. Thank you. And then they sent him to Fort Knox, Kentucky, for I don't even know how long. He ended up getting clemency, and so he came back earlier than what.
Okay.
Because
Was it for like a conduct unbecoming?
Yes. Yeah.
And then they don't have terms of years on convictions. It's basically 0 to life
Yes.
for everything.
yeah.
Sure now.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd say he's probably gone 6 months.
Okay.
So meanwhile, I've moved us out of military housing into a dump in town because it's all I can afford because they knocked him down to E1 pay. Which I remember
right,
one of
right.
my coworkers being like, I get it as a punishment for him, but that punishes the whole family.
It does.
I had to get on food stamps, and I remember having to have my coworkers, my friends, tell me it's okay. This is why this stuff's here.
Yeah,
like,
but you'd never been in
know,
that position.
No, never. And I'm like, no, there's people that need this. Like, I almost felt like I was abusing that. I'd go
Yeah.
late at night to the grocery store to get my wick.
No,
I
Heather, that's crazy.
I know.
We have listeners and friends of ours
I
who
know.
are dealing with this right now who still
I know.
hide this type of thing.
It's so silly. Like, I'd be the first person to be like, what are you doing? This is what this system is for.
You are exactly
this-
who the system is for.
You worked and paid fucking taxes, Heather.
That's what my friend said. They like, you've been working since you were 16. You paid into this over and
Okay.
over again, and I was
So
working full time.
can I ask then, while all of this is happening in your life, do you still have a relationship with your dad? Who is he still in prison?
He's
at this
still in
point?
prison. He got out. He got out the same year she was born.
Okay.
And I remember that I was still pregnant, and he had sent me a letter and said that when he got out the same month. That's what it was. She was born in December, and he got out in December of 2004. And he had written me a letter saying he really wanted to come visit me. And I remember it terrified me because I'm like, I'm going to have a brand new baby and he wants to come visit. Not that I was scared of him or anything,
No,
but just
I
like,
know what
that's
you're
a
saying.
lot, right?
Right.
I
It
haven't
is a
seen you
lot.
in a decade.
Yeah.
And I remember my Aunt Wendy, his sister, somehow we were talking, and I remember he must have said something to her because she brought it up to me. And we weren't super close, so it was weird that she brought it up. But I remember her asking me how I felt about it, and I was honest. And she said, I think that's a good call to tell him to wait. Because he asked me. He did ask. Like, in the letter, he was like, how would you feel, blah, blah, blah.
I like that she supported your feelings.
I did
even
too.
though that it
I
was
was
her
shocked.
brother.
Yeah, I was shocked. And when she gave me that go-ahead, it was kind of like she gave me permission.
Someone gave you permission.
Yep. And then I said, you know what? It's not that I don't want to see you and I don't want you around my kid or anything. It's just, I'm just going to have this brand new baby and I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm still
and
trying
I
to
don't
navigate
wanna
life
add
here.
this to it. So he did come visit. Maybe she was 2, I think. So he
Okay.
waited a significant amount of time and then came and saw her.
At what
Or
point do
saw
you
us,
get
but-
her back, though?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, this
So,
is going to end happy.
It does. It ends
is.
happy.
We know it
So-
does.
And this is what I mean. I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I know that the incident date was April 18th, 2005. And for years, every April 18th, 2005, I remembered it as if it was like something I wrote up as a Facebook memory. Like I remembered it. And I had so much, that's what I mean. Just such.
That's also a trauma response.
That's what I was going to say. So much unhealthy responses because I just didn't do anything about it. I had enough going on. And I'm trying to take care of everyone else. So the last person that needs help is me, is what I thought. When I mean, that was clearly not
right.
But
right.
So I don't remember that's what I mean. I remember when it happened. I don't remember exactly when I got her back. But when he was court-martialed, he came to the house in cuffs in our dumpy apartment. I remember being like, going to see this. Like, what the heck? His parents had come from Arkansas. Like, they were very supportive. I will say they were super supportive. They were there constantly trying to help me out, there for all the court hearings, everything. They brought him there for something. I don't know. I must have had to pack him a bag or something probably. And in his cuffs, so like we couldn't really like hug or anything, and then left. Super traumatic, like I'm bawling my eyes out, left. His parents left the next day. That same day that he left, the social worker called me and said, you can pick her up from daycare and take her home.
Wow.
And then we had like an emergency hearing where they closed the case and gave me
It was him.
It was all him. Mm-hmm. So once that happened, I was like, oh, okay. They definitely believed me. Thank God. Like, I remember feeling almost like vindicated. Like, clearly they believed me.
They were probably just unsure at the time as to whether or not you could stay away from him.
Yeah, well.
Because like you said, you didn't have anyone else.
That was the other thing.
And then they took him away.
Yep, that was the other thing they kept saying to me was, I said, I'm telling you, like, we are so, I mean, I followed everything to the T. And I remember Rhonda said, I believe you, but a lot of people don't. And so the court just doesn't believe it.
Who's a lot of people, Rhonda?
Yeah. What do I care about a lot of people?
Rhonda.
She sucked.
My God.
I hope she went into a different profession.
She's probably retired now. It's been
so.
21 years.
Yeah. She wasn't a young, spry chicken then.
Someplace in Kansas, there's a woman eating Starburst.
Sucking on Starburst.
Removing
having
babies. Having FTMs.
Yep, she sure is. So
that's exactly what it was. We're not going to give you your kid back.
Not going to get your kid back. Nobody believes you.
Yeah, but I mean, I do. I'm going to come to your house to do a home. That was another thing. She came to the house to do a home visit. I made this dump look great, spick and span, and she's got her little pad of paper looking at it, and she's like, "Yep, it looks good." And I said, So when can she come home? And she's like, oh, yeah, we're not there yet. That was the answer. We're not there yet. What do I need to do? And that was the thing. Nothing. There was nothing for me to do.
Yeah,
it was
that's
him.
not fair.
Because once he was out of the picture, and I get that now, I see it. Like there was nothing. But
wouldn't it have been nice if someone would have said to you, Heather, if you go file for divorce right now, you'll get your baby back and never let him around her again.
And save yourself 5 years of more continuous years of
I will
bullshit.
tell you that now they are more likely to tell you that, your workers are, and say, listen, this is an impediment. Are you planning on filing for divorce at all?
Yeah.
If you're not, we're going to deal with it.
That was never once asked to me.
They can't force you
to.
No. But wouldn't it have been nice
and
if
I was
someone
20.
told
Let's
you?
remember, I was 22.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, I would have told you.
I know. I know that.
Let's go file for divorce, Heather.
I know.
Let's
and
go
that's
do
what
it.
I mean. I had nobody there but his family, and they're not going to say that because...
Well, of course.
I'm the glue holding this place together.
I'm glad that they were so lovely with you, but can you imagine their response to their child and loved one caused this?
Yeah, they were super
So I'm glad they treated you nice because you did nothing wrong.
Me too, but when we got a divorce later, listen to this bullshit. So I stay with this dude for another 5 years. He leaves me for another woman.
Oh my God.
Who was 12 years older than him that he met at the factory that he worked. He worked at a Foot Locker factory. Who got him that job? Me. Well, I didn't get it for him, but I filled out his application. I mean, it's disgusting. I filled out his application.
He left you for Mrs.
I
Robinson.
hope him and Granny are living a great life.
Nope, they're no longer together. He's in his, how old is he?
Shocking.
He's 46, living with his grandma.
Oh, so he is with Granny.
And
I told you.
I said,
his
I biological
hope him and Granny
grandmother,
are doing
but
good.
And he's never been remarried. And I get at least every 6 months, I'll get a message out of the blue apologizing for everything that he did. But he's still a narcissist because then he says, you know, God will never forgive me because this is why I can't have a relationship because of what I did to you. And I'm like, yep, you're right. Like.
It's still your fault, Heather.
I had to forgive for myself, but I'm not going to lie. I love it. Every time I get one, I'm like, I'm so glad you're miserable. And then God doesn't like ugly, and I know it. But seeing the karma for yourself is amazing.
That's crazy that after all this time, he still messages. Were his rights terminated, or did you just get sole legal custody?
No. He's still, because we got divorced, so much time had passed that my attorney basically said the court's probably going to look at it like you you were fine with him all these years, so it kind of looks more like a vindictive thing, like, well, I don't want him around my kid. Well, the truth was he was never, ever alone with her ever again. I worked at a military hotel. When I worked third shift, I took her with me. I was the only employee. I'd put her in the back. Nobody knew.
No
in her
shit.
playpen. Yeah.
Good for you,
I
Heather.
wouldn't leave her alone. I mean, I would
This
give
is how
up
you
shifts.
protect your child, you guys.
Yeah, I almost got fired because I'd be like, I don't have anyone to watch her. I can't take the shift. And then I remember my friend, who was my boss, was like,
Bring her.
you're still married. No, she didn't know about
Bummer.
it. She said, you're still married to him. So I don't know what the problem is. Basically, and I get it now, like looking back, it was really shitty how she said it. But essentially, if you can't leave your kid with him, why are you with him?
Right.
Yeah,
I get that. Yeah,
no,
yeah,
that
yeah.
makes
So I
more
get
sense.
it, but it was just the delivery was a little.
For sure.
And I'm like, I
she
don't
was
know.
trying to be helpful. She just needed
I
to
don't
be
know.
more tactful.
Yeah.
It was a self-worth thing at this point.
I think so too. Yeah. Well, I don't want to be alone.
Right.
And I'm not leaving her with him, so I'm not putting my baby in danger.
And everybody had convinced you that you couldn't do better than that. No one else wanted you, right?
Yes.
No one else would want you.
No one would want. Who would want me? Yeah. And now I have baggage. I got a kid. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't baggage.
for sure.
I never
No.
looked at her like that.
I love
but you
my
know what I'm
children. They
saying?
are
They're
beautiful,
baggage.
beautiful baggage.
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
Mine are super handsome baggage.
Handsome baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful and handsome baggage.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, mine are sarcastic, smart ass.
oh yeah, I was going to say they're spitting images of us is what they are, but
For sure.
and I wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
But yeah, so what I was going to say real quick is we did have a CASA during that time. I never knew what CASA was until then. That CASA came to all supervised visits, all of them, I think. I wasn't at all of them, but I was at a lot of them. And I found out later that I think she was the driving force with the judge knowing it wasn't me, because I guess all of her reports were very complimentary of me.
What was her first name?
I don't remember because she didn't eat Starburst and bug me.
Okay.
Right.
Right?
She
How
didn't-
does that happen? I
Well,
don't remember her name. I can
Because
picture
we
her.
remember how people make us feel.
Yeah, you're right.
And that is what.
and
the
I didn't know it-
Starburst Rhonda
And
made
I
you
didn't know it
feel
at the
bad.
time when I had interactions with her. I didn't know at the time what she was putting in her reports, what she was saying to the court. I had no idea.
So
explain
obviously,
what CASA
I was just
is.
going to
I
say,
will, yeah.
obviously it's jumping ahead to where you're going to be,
Yeah.
but I think it's a perfect segue if you
Okay,
tell
good.
us how you learned what CASA is.
Yes. So that's how I learned what CASA was. And CASA is Court Appointed Special Advocates.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nonprofit of volunteers who work with kids in foster care. They go through 30 plus hours of training. You don't have to have any like child welfare background or anything because the training is really extensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're assigned to one case at a time. So this lady was only assigned to us, and her job is to advocate for the child, which is really hard when it's an infant. So then you have to rely on all your observation skills, which is why she probably was all at all the visits. And I found out at our last court hearing after he was gone and they gave her back to me that the CASA was really pushing for me to have her back because she was seeing all of our engagements and like saw how he would hold Rachel and she would scream her head off crying the whole time. The only
Right.
time she would kind of calm down is if I sat right next to him and was kind of touching her.
Mm-hmm.
Then she'd go to me totally fine.
Right.
Like she
well,
knew
there's no bond and attachment there with him.
Nothing,
Mhm.
no. But real quick to go back, she ended up, we had custody, like she'd go with him. And that terrified me because I'm like, this is why I stayed married to him.
After the divorce.
Mhm. This is why I stayed married to him, so that I knew that he,
How
And
old
so
was
you could
she?
supervise.
How old was she when she finally had to be around him
She was
unsupervised?
5, and at least she could talk, you know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I never have met this other woman. They were together for 5 years because she'd come with him to pick her up, but she'd stay in the car. She'd never come up to the porch, which that's probably smart. But I don't want my kid. I don't even know you, and what I do know of you, I don't like. So why would I want my kid around you? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like he wasn't alone with her. She was there, and that's all I had to grab onto. But she also had like a teenage daughter, so like she's a mom too, and she was very good to Rachel. She'd always send her home with like cute clothes she picked up for her, and her hair would be, so I knew she was good to her. It was
I love that.
really
Heather.
hard. It was
you
really
cannot
hard.
like her at all, but at
Yes,
least you knew
she
that
was
there
good
was,
to my kid. Yes,
there was supervision there.
There was
because
supervision
he
there.
couldn't be trusted.
she would have her call me if they had her on Mother's Day.
Oh, good.
I doubt it was him. I guess I don't know that for sure, but
Yeah, right.
so
Right.
anyhow, they're since broken up. But
Mm-hmm.
and he's sad and alone and miserable, and it's really sad.
I can tell. I'm
It's super,
Karmic-
sleep
super
about it at
sad.
night. I'm like,
karmically
so sad.
speaking.
But I will say that their relationship is non-existent now because she was probably like 17 and a half and he did some things I'd rather not talk about. He didn't do anything to her, but he just sucks.
Well, and if it's stuff that involves her,
that's
her story.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm not going to say it. But he just sucks.
What you meant.
And she says to me, I want Nate, which is my current husband. We got married in 2013. I want Nate to adopt me. I want to be our last name. I don't want to be this last name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, that's totally up to you, you know. And we went and talked to an attorney, and it would have been a lot of money for something that in 5-6 months she could just do on her own for free. You know what I mean?
Right,
and she was fine with that. Like, she understood it wasn't, she knew it's not that he didn't want her. It was just like, why are we going to pay over $2,000 to do all this
when you can do an adult adoption the day you turn 18?
Yes, because this was still home studies and all the, you guys know, all the things.
I have adopted a child. I'm very aware.
So you know, and so
just because your dad's a cotton-headed
ninny muggins, yes,
Ninny
exactly, ninny muggins,
ninny muggins,
cotton-headed ninny muggins.
I gotta brush up on my elf.
You do. Hope you find your, or what? Bye, buddy. I hope you find your dad. That's my favorite line.
Love you guys.
That's what made me think of the cotton-headed ninny
We
muggins.
finally made progress in the story of Heather, but I want to jump back again briefly because you indicated you weren't ready for your dad to come visit within those, and you were dealing with a lot, and she was technically removed at one point, and then back. So when did
we were moving into a new apartment? So I think this was like 2006. So she was born in December. This was the summer of 2006. So however old that would make her. She was born in December of 2004. So a little, And he came and visited then and helped us move.
Oh.
And spent one night at our apartment, slept on the couch. She was in her own room. No, we had a guest room. But the way the apartment was set up is our room was on the other side of the apartment, and then the guest room and the baby room were on like closer to each other. And I remember being like, I'd get up a lot and check on like both of them because I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't know, right? I mean, I don't know, and I hate saying that but you just don't know.
But that's the first time you'd seen him.
Yes, and he was really good with her.
This is again how we protect our children.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, he was really good with her, and we went out to dinner, and then I think he left the next day, but he drove all the way out here. He doesn't fly. I don't know why. So he drove all the way out here from Michigan, and then I think it was like
Kansas.
Out to Kansas. And it was his first like time out. You know, you've been in prison for all these years. So now it's like he went and visited me, and he made some other stops and went through a few other states on the way home, like out of his way to do some other things, sightseeing. So I think it was a really good trip for him too. So that was good. And then after that, we talked on the phone more regularly. And, you know, when I'd come visit, he'd always tell me, you know, it'd be really great if you'd move back. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I have this really good job and da-da-da-da-da. And all my friends hated, when I was still with Rachel's dad, hated him. He did some stuff even to my friend. My best friend and I.
You're talking about your husband.
My ex-husband. My
cotton-headed ninny muggins.
Yes, sorry, that's his name. My best friend and I were very close, and he was also very jealous of that relationship.
Yes.
Like he was of the relationship I had with our child.
Right.
So he would do, he was just a horrible person. Very messy. Definitely needs mental health. And I tell him that whenever I get those messages. I say, you need to go to a counselor. You got to work through these things. I'm fine. Everything's good. I'm not holding grudges. Please move along with your life. Appreciate the apology, but dude, you need to move along.
Right.
He says he thinks about what he did to Rachel every day. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Even with counseling, I think you should still, and I was going to say, my dad says the same thing about what he did. Every day he thinks about that. How could you not? Unless you didn't care, maybe. I don't know. But
I think it's
something he will live with for the rest of his life.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's a nice thing to
And
point
even
out,
being
honestly.
out, he's never made excuses. He's never been like, well, but, you know, never. To me, never.
Good.
Well, then that's the difference too. Actually, the episode we recorded before this one, we talked about the difference between people who hold themselves accountable and have actual remorse compared to the people who don't.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your dad has taken the path of remorse.
I'm all about second
and accountability.
chances, and a lot of it is because of what I see with him.
How did you end up back in Michigan, Heather?
So I met my current husband, and this is what I'm a firm believer in. Everything happens for a reason. I never would have met him had I not wound up in Kansas because he was from Texas, from Houston, and he happened to live in Kansas because his grandma did.
That's why he's so big.
That's why he's so big.
He's a tall man. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yes. He is a tall man.
He's a tall man.
Please tell me your ex-husband was like 5'6".
He was.
Yeah. I can tell.
He was probably like 5'8". But I mean,
so
when
Lord
they see
Farquaad.
each other,
Okay.
it's hilarious. When they, like the first time they met and he like towers over him and I'm like, that's,
Oh, dude, that would be terrifying.
this is a real man that I got now.
Well, at least one that you don't want to fuck with.
100%.
No
and I will
way.
say
He's a
that-
gentle giant.
That was like a very undiscussed rule. I think you're right. Like he very much like the first, and Nate's so like he always would walk up and shake his hand. How you doing, man? Like especially in front of Rachel. Like she wanted to make sure she saw that. Like we're co-parenting. He really is a great person. And yeah, he would just, I'm fine looking at the ground. And
but he's also a giant human.
yeah, he is
So
a
there's
giant.
that
human.
to keep in mind.
And I feel like he probably was super embarrassed when like he knows that Nate knows all of the stuff he's done too. So he's probably just like, hi man, you know, or whatever. But anyhow,
For 5 minutes alone with you,
oh
son.
my God, I know. Yes. So there was nothing, none of us had like any ties to Kansas. He had his grandma, but she lived like 5 hours away. So there wasn't even any closeness there. We got married in 2013 and all my family came to Kansas. And then we went, he always says we spent our honeymoon back in Michigan in my best friend's basement because I was heartbroken when everyone left the next day. And I remember we were eating at a restaurant. We were eating at a Bob Evans and I was bawling all over my pancakes. And he's just like.
And you know they originated in Michigan, so you needed to get back.
I had to get back. I said, why are we here? Why aren't we at the IHOP? So he's like, we took all our like wedding money and went to Michigan and stayed for the week or whatever because I had a week off of work and then made a plan.
Did you have Rachel with you?
Yeah. Yep. And made a plan, basically like a 2-year plan because he was in school to be a surgical technician, which is what he does. And so the plan was like, once he's done with school, that'll give him a year to work or something to that effect. So he'd have like job history and then we'd move back here. And that's what we did. So we moved back in 2015. And the first day my dad was at my house trying to help me unpack. Mm-hmm. Well, trying to be helpful.
Sure. Right.
And he's been out of prison for almost
2006.
a decade at this point?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it would have been.
Almost 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2006.
Well, he got out in 2006. So, and,
Megan.
now. I thought you meant when we moved.
I meant when they moved.
Yeah,
Not
it would have
today.
been a decade. Yes.
I meant when they moved. So it was 10 years
I don't
at that
think
point.
she did, but she's covered. No, I'm just kidding.
That's also possible.
Yeah. So, so I feel like and I just sent him a text message the other day, and it's so funny because he doesn't know how to, I send him because he doesn't know how to respond to the stuff. So if I would have said it in person, he probably would have been like, oh, okay. So he wrote back like, this is awesome. Love you too. And it was basically saying like, I'm thankful for the relationship that you and Rachel have because she was 12 when we moved here, so he still didn't get to have that little kid relationship, but he got to have all that stuff that he missed out with me. And I think he was really trying to make it a priority. Like he would go to all the school plays.
That's a really good point, Heather.
All the concerts and all the
He didn't hide.
obligational thing. He didn't
could have
hide.
got out of prison and stayed in his house and hidden from society. And he came back home to the place where he committed a crime.
He did.
People need to keep this in mind.
I do think that he did hide before we came back because I remember he'd make comments like one time he was coming over for dinner and I needed him to stop and pick something up from the store. And he stopped at Market House and he said, man, I just can't, Market House is like a completely different store. They have all these different things. And I was like, yeah.
Sure is.
And he's like, oh, I haven't been there probably since before he went away. Same with Walmart. Or he'd go like in the middle of the night when when it was open 24 hours. Well, now since I started, once I got back, he started coming around more and he started going out to the stores more. And I think too, it helps that I always introduce him as my dad. I don't say this is my dad, the murderer, but I say this is my dad. I don't just say,
good call, Heather.
I don't just say this is Jeff or whatever, you know, like I say, this is my dad. I tag him on the Facebook stuff, you know, like I'm not trying to hide.
know.
Yeah.
But I've also seen him, and again, I'm not trying to justify anything he's done.
No,
the
not
victim
at all.
and the victim, but I've seen him interact with myself, other judges, people who are in prestigious positions here who just know that that's Jeff, and he did his time.
Yeah,
he was granted parole, and he came back and hasn't caused any problems or committed any crime since. And that's one of the things that they consider when they release and when they give somebody sentences, risk of recidivism.
Yeah.
That's a big reason why I asked you on tonight too, was simply to understand we end our episodes a lot of the time with the bad guy being in prison, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we end them with, and they're out. And sometimes we know what they've done with their life afterwards. A lot of times we don't.
Yeah.
And I like your dad's story post-prison.
Yeah.
In that he is someone where the prison system worked for.
Yes. Yes. And I was just telling a person that just got on probation, I think yesterday, I said, don't look at it like a punishment. I mean, it is. But if you put everything into these services that you're being offered, by the way, you can totally change your life and not ever be on probation or in trouble again.
Quite frankly,
instead of just going right to jail.
Instead of looking at it like a punishment for what you've done, it can be looked at as a consequence of your actions that you are able to then transmute into a second chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
And you have to take advantage of it if you truly are remorseful, because your victim of your crime doesn't get an opportunity to do any of that. Mm-hmm. So at the very least, you should jump into everything so that you can actually get something from the punitive part of it and the rehabilitative part of it. Yeah. If there is a rehabilitative part.
For sure. Yeah.
For him, there was.
Yeah. And we recognize that there are plenty of times where there's not. And a lot of times the parole boards do the right thing in those situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And keep them where they need to be. Okay. Right.
Yeah. And I was going to say real quick, because he does go out to a lot of things with me, and he went to St. Anthony's, does a fundraiser for us, or well, they don't anymore, but they did, and it was an Italian dinner fundraiser. And
I remember I've been to it. It was delicious.
So I'm so sad they don't do it anymore, because the people that make the food are just like we're
they're
getting too old
church
for this.
members.
Yeah,
and they're amazing.
They're
ladies,
wonderful.
Though. Yeah, they're in like their 70s.
Yeah, they're
80s.
like, we're getting a little too old for this, and so but everything was handmade, like even the noodles.
Oh yeah, my God.
So anyway,
now I'm hungry, Heather.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Let's order some lasagna from Cottage Inn. Plug for that real quick. Had it the other day for the first time. Fantastic.
I've never
the pasta from Cottage Inn?
Yeah, they have a lasagna, and it's
if you have one near you.
Apparently, the recipe is like an
Italian,
an old Italian recipe from the old world or something. I don't know, but anyway.
From the old gods.
Yes.
The old Italian gods. The beetle.
It is.
So Knights of Columbus also are part of this that put it on. And the judge that I apologize. The prosecuting attorney that was on my dad's case,
who later became the circuit court judge.
The circuit court judge is part of Knights of Columbus.
Yes.
And was there like bussing the tables, which I love to see, by the way.
He is a public servant.
Very much a public servant, but I had never seen it before. So I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I love this. Like, way to show that you're a human too, right? You know, and not just I'm above all of you and I'm the judge, you know.
We are people.
You are people. I know. And I said, he's here. I don't know. Is that okay? Like, are you uncomfortable? Not that he would even know who my dad is, probably.
Yes, he did.
But so he goes, where is he? Like, I had to point him out to him. And then before we left, he said, I think I'm going to go say hi to him. And I was like, okay. So I went with him.
You're like, this is fantastic.
Can't wait to see how this unfolds. I don't know, right?
Right.
So we get up there, and I don't think the judge, he knew who I was, but I don't think he knew. I was very early on in my job, so I don't think he knew who I was or put two and two together. And so he says, hi. He looks at him for a second and goes, Jeff, how are you doing? And he says, this is my daughter. I have a granddaughter. And he goes, oh, isn't being a grandpa great?
Yeah, that's like, what he is.
Yeah. And then he says, keeping out of trouble, what are you doing? And he says, I work here. I'm doing this. He goes, sounds wonderful. Like, gave him the whole, like, you would, right? And then that was it. And they shook hands. And I think that was a huge moment for my dad. And I was really proud of him for doing that. And it was like an unspoken thing. I've never said anything to him about it, but like, we walked out and I could tell like that was a big deal for him.
And that he needed that.
Who gets that opportunity usually?
Right.
And for him to be so welcoming to it,
You would be surprised how many people who you send to jail or who you send to prison or who you think that they've really had their worst day in front of you, and maybe you haven't even been necessarily kind because he made some arguments that definitely weren't easy to hear from your dad's perspective and exactly what the victim needed to hear, right?
Yeah.
To have somebody come up and thank you for that later.
Yeah.
Or to talk to you like you're a human, because we do sometimes forget we're humans also.
Sure.
Because we play a role.
Well, you're right. I would never think that any person that's gone to prison for something like that would be like, I hope one day I can see the judge and thank him.
Yeah,
it's more like, I hope I run into that judge and I'm back alley.
So, Wes, we're coming full circle.
Yes.
Now you have to tell people, what type of a job do you do now that causes you to be in a place where people have lasagna dinners for you, where judges and ex-cons all volunteer together?
Right.
Because that's a brilliant circle here.
Yes. So I work for our CASA program in our county. which is, again, reminder, court-appointed special advocates, which I only know about because we had one with my daughter.
And they're
So amazing.
everywhere. So tell people.
Well, wait, actually, first of all, sorry. I know how amazing they are because we had them firsthand. And then a few years after that, I became a CASA volunteer in Kansas for the same organization that ours was, the same county, because I knew they made a difference personally. I knew that lady made a difference even though I didn't know what she was. I had no clue what her point.
So
you know what I mean?
You had clients. You were assigned. You were a working CASA.
I was a working CASA for 2 years. I did it from 2013 until we moved in 2015. And my last case was a teenager. And I said, I don't want any of those damn teenagers. And then I got a teenager and she was fantastic. And we're still friends on Facebook. And she's married and just had her third baby and messages me all the time about what a difference I made in her life. And I never even felt that way. And she's written up testimonials for me when I'm trying to like tug at people's heartstrings for money.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, this is what CASA means to me. Like, hello, that's amazing.
You guys, your local CASAs, while they may receive some partial funding, are very reliant on good citizens in their communities to give nonprofit donations.
Yeah.
And so, CASA is CASA.
Yes. Everyone calls it CASA.
They do.
It's CASA
like the Spanish word for house?
For house.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes. And so, yes, we're a nonprofit. We run completely off of grants and donations. And the whole mission is the power of one person, one kind, consistent adult can change. I think our tagline right now, they change it a lot, but is change a child's story, change a child's life, which I do love. When I started, it was I am for the child, which sure I am, but I loved this one because I can speak to that.
So your mission is evidence-based.
Yep.
And just so people, you guys have heard me talk about it before, but a lot of this is based off of the ACEs study, the Folletti study, where you go through adverse childhood experiences and get a score, which I'm going to let Heather talk about for a minute.
I
but
definitely do.
Before you get to that, which is really important, the piece that's the most important there is the resiliency part, because people who have a crazy high score can also be very successful adults and not end up in prison themselves and not end up in the wrong path by having that. And it's one important person in your life, more if you're lucky, who are that example for you and that person who you can confide in and trust. You have to have the resiliency piece. So
you do. And so
tell us your story.
Yeah, for me, that was my aunt, my mom's sister. She was my one kind, caring adult. She was always there for me, no matter what. I mean, before my mom died, she was who I called to come get us. Like, I can't fight her off. Come get us. And she didn't know how bad it was. So it wasn't like she knew that and left us in that situation. She didn't know. And the last time, and I remember one time she'd come to get me, and then I'd be like, never mind, it's fine, because like something would happen in the 20 minutes or whatever with my mom, and we're good. And if I leave, then that's going to cause some kind of between them or between. And I remember one time she got really upset at me, and she was like, "No, if you don't come with me now, don't call me again." And looking back, that sounds harsh, but I get it. Like there was just so much trauma and toxicity going on with everyone, you know. Yep. And when she died, they were fighting. That's hard. So of course she lives with that for the rest of her life. So I think I know she would have taken care of us anyway, but she said that when my mom was on her deathbed, she promised her she'd take care of us, my brother and I, and she did. When I graduated high school, the same weekend I graduated high school, she moved. She was getting a divorce. She moved to where my grandparents were in Virginia and kind of left. And then I left because, I had to go off to live my love.
And we left tropical Kansas.
Left my brother, who was 10 at the time, and I lived with that guilt for a long time because I felt like we abandoned him. And it's so funny because I'd come home to visit and I'd always trap him in a corner and cry and make him really uncomfortable about how I left him, and I'm so sorry.
And he's a 10-year-old boy, and he's like,
No, this was when he was 15. Like every time I'd come home,
even weirder.
Yeah.
He's like, bruh.
I'm fine. Everything's fine. And he still tells me that to this day. I'm good now. I believe him. But he would have to reassure me a lot because I felt, and he turned out great. So it's not, but our aunt was our person. And she was that one kind, caring person that I know, had we not had her, there was no supervision at home. I did have the older boyfriend. I remember that was a big thing. I didn't understand it at the time, where my aunt was like, "Do we need to put you on birth control?"
Sure.
And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Because that was so far from my mind at first.
Right. So,
and it was because I realized later it was, I'm susceptible to teen pregnancy and drugs
Yes.
and alcohol.
Yes.
And you know the percentage when you have an alcoholic parent that you're going to become an alcoholic.
Absolutely.
When you have an alcoholic parent, you're going to marry an alcoholic. I did. My husband's a recovering alcoholic, so that is true.
Okay.
And
Who's
that's-
still in recovery?
Who's still in recovery.
Congratulations.
For always. Yep. 100. Always an addict. I had to learn the hard way. I didn't know that was a thing.
It
like,
is.
you know, you're always
Right.
going to be an addict. You're just in recovery.
So you talked to us about the resiliency in
Sorry.
your aunt.
Yes.
No, I want you to tell everybody, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah.
So on the ACEs, you can score anywhere between a 1 and a 10.
Yes.
10 being the highest. And basically from, is it 7 to 8 or is it 8 to 10 that you're like significantly high risk
Oh, no.
of?
Anything over 4.
Okay.
You're at
Also,
a significant
Hold on.
risk.
Back
Yeah.
up, ladies.
Yeah.
You're
Sorry,
speaking
jargon.
the
Are we
Speaking
jargon.
science.
Yeah.
Well, you're speaking the jargon of the profession. So please explain ACEs for
What
those
does
of
it
us
stand
that
for?
wouldn't know.
Okay, so ACE means adverse childhood experience,
Yep.
and it's a study that was originated by one of the scientists' last name is Folletti.
Mm-hmm.
You can look this up right now online, and you can look. It's free. You can
is.
look up your sheet, and
Yeah,
you
you
can do
can
your
take
ACEs
it.
score.
Yep.
You can also look up some really fantastic YouTube videos that are like almost cartoonized that
Yeah,
explain adverse
yes.
childhood
I love
experiences,
them,
your
yeah.
ACEs score, and then how they do the resiliency piece. So
Those
please,
are great.
please
Yeah.
look it up.
Yeah.
Yes, please do.
look it
They
up.
definitely, I don't mean this offensively, like they dumb it down like to where
Yes, they make
anyone
it
can understand it,
Yeah.
and that's how I want it to be.
They
We all
make
want
it-
it to be.
So
totally palatable for the general
Do you guys
public.
remember that show Shameless? Did you
I
ever
love
watch
that show.
Yeah. So
It's one of my favorites ever.
Carl, right?
Yeah.
He was the youngest son.
The
When he
military
was,
kid.
Yes. When he was, I'm just bringing this up because there was an episode where he had a girlfriend and she was like, you need to take this ACEs study. Your number's gonna be off the
Yep.
charts and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my god! And I couldn't put it on like the CASA page because
Right.
that show is so inappropriate. I couldn't be like, hey, check out Shameless for ACEs information. But
Right.
I loved
But
that they
it's
put it in
true.
there.
What was your score,
Yeah.
Heather?
8.
Yeah.
Right.
So you get 1 point. They ask you 10 questions. You get 1 point for every yes. And the questions are like, have you had a parent in jail? Have you had a parent die? Have you had a parent that's an alcoholic? Have you witnessed domestic violence?
Substance use,
Substance use. I can't
including
remember.
alcohol.
Yeah, I can't
Sexual
remember.
abuse is
sexual
on there.
abuse.
Are your parents divorced? See,
Yes.
everyone usually gets a 1 because, divorce is such a high rate.
Yes.
It's
Not
very,
us.
I was going to say, it's very
Right, no.
rare to find anyone that has a 0 because generally you can at least get 1. Are you both 0s?
We are.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I
we
hate
are.
you both.
We are
No, I'm
both
just kidding.
zeros.
Did I
but
might have-
Bitches.
I can't remember
Pull
if
it
I
up.
had a 1 or not. I'll have to peek, but I'm almost positive. The first time I took it was at the CAN conference in Pontiac. So that's the Child Abuse and Neglect Conference, a really big one they have every year.
Yep.
They moved that to online, so I stopped going.
I
but
know.
before that,
There's
when
one
it was
in Grand
person,
Rapids.
It was amazing. So.
yeah.
I should find out
But,
when it is. I'd like to go.
Yeah, you guys, it's just take an ACEs so you can see like where you are and don't let it make you feel bad. Instead, think about where you are or where you want to be, and then let's work on the resiliency piece
Right.
with counseling. You mentioned a couple times I wasn't in counseling, or I should have been, or
Yeah.
if I would have been, or
I'm
got the
such
mental
a
health
huge
piece.
advocate. Or
How
like
did that evolve?
counseling. I think just, getting into this field and just realizing that it is so important. And even my thing is, okay, they don't make it easy sometimes to get mental health covered.
Oh,
or you're
no.
embarrassed, or there's the stick, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Write in a journal. Talk to
Yes.
a trusted adult, a trusted
Yes.
adult, a trusted friend.
A trusted adult.
Trusted adult.
Well, something.
Just you've got to get that out of there.
You
And
do.
that was my saving grace too. I had my aunt, and I also was a writer. Like, I love to write, and I would just pour my little heart out in a notebook, and that helps a lot too. And that's why before we started, when I met our probate court judge when I started at CASA,
Isn't she lovely?
I love her so much.
I do too.
I don't see her doing this,
No.
but if you get a couple Coronas in her, she might get a little.
Yes.
She's very proper.
She picks on
She
me
is.
all the time.
I love
when
her.
I go on rampages in public because I'm super not shy. And I'll be like, I'm so stressed out because I have to deal with this. And she's like, you love it.
You signed up for this. You literally asked for
Like,
this.
Be quiet.
She's wonderful.
But
And
she was also my boss for a long time.
Yeah. And the first time she met me, after I started CASA, we sat down and basically tell me your story, and I kind of did, and because I knew she knew my dad and everything.
And then after she picked her jaw up
Yes.
from the floor.
It wasn't this in depth, but she said, "Have you ever thought to write a book? You need to write a book."
Yeah.
She said that to me, and I was
still
like,
do.
I've jumped in your DMs and said the same thing.
I know.
I volunteered to edit it for you.
I know you did. And then
This is your first step.
I had a friend. Yeah, it is. I had a
told
friend
her
that wrote
too.
a book. She did. She did. I had a friend that wrote a book a year or so ago, and she was able to publish it like under a pseudonym.
Yes.
Because that's my biggest thing is it's so funny how we still want to protect our parents, right?
I know.
Because he's done so much for us, my family, in rough times, and he's been there so much. And I don't want him to be defined just by this horrible thing that he did, because he's done so much good in his life. Not excusing it, not trying to forget about it, and not trying to forget about the victim,
Heather,
or anything.
we want your experience with it, and you've experienced a new parent. You got a new parent who got out of prison, right? Who learned how to be a dad to an adult woman and a grandparent.
Like when I watch these documentaries, there's a new one that just came out about the daughter of the BTK killer. He was when he was arrested. I lived in Kansas, and that was I only lived like an hour away, so that was a big deal.
If anybody ever wants to YouTube Charles Manson's son's interview,
he never even thought about his kids. That's what I mean.
It's really interesting, and he does defend his dad a little bit, not for what he did, but just in terms of things that he knows about him, and he got a ton of hate for it. So I want to be clear. You can disagree with things that Heather's saying and even us approaching it from this subject, but we're going to stand by it, because if we don't continue to look at different perspectives from the criminal justice system and the social justice system, we don't grow as people.
We will never evolve.
No, we're stagnant.
Well, and isn't that the whole point?
You don't want to judge that stagnant and doesn't evolve.
No.
Right?
Right.
No.
None of our freaking professions would exist, you guys, if it wasn't for the fact that there are some humans that the system works for, which is the point here. I mean, your dad grew from this horrible time in his life and what he did. Prison worked for him. Yeah. Like, it did its job.
I know people prison has worked for also.
Yeah.
I have seen people come out who have never reoffended again, ever.
Right.
I have a family member who has done the same thing.
Yeah.
He also had a supportive family.
Yes.
Your dad had a supportive
That's a
family.
good point.
He had a great family.
He did. That's right.
All those aces, and then the resilience piece to have. He had great parents.
You know what,
he had
though?
a fantastic
It's really
sibling.
funny you say that, because if he took the ACEs score,
I bet he'd be low.
he would be low. He didn't witness domestic violence or have a parent in jail or
have
substance
parents
use
scream at him or call him terrible names.
Isn't that funny? So it's funny though, because I kind of look at his life as very like what you want, and then my mom's side more traumatic.
We have the same ACEs score as somebody who committed a homicide, correct?
We do.
Then Heather,
Yep.
who has like almost as high as you can get on an ACEs score, and we have all turned out very similar.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all, to me, it's all about, so when you're talking about that and then the mental health thing, it's all about breaking that cycle. So many of us think that like we're conditioned to think that, well, this is just how it is. My mom was an alcoholic, so I guess I'm going to be one. Oh, and I married one, so I might as well join him or whatever.
Right.
And so I'm a huge proponent in that. And then, that's part of why I wanted to work for you.
So I was waiting for
job.
you to bring up your second job as somebody who is also a survivor and advocate for domestic violence victims and survivors.
Yeah. Yeah. So I work for you in the probation department.
So
I'll let you talk about that.
I'll let you talk about what you do, but just so everybody's aware, we have a significant issue with funding in our very small county for appropriate supervision of individuals on probation for pretty serious offenses, especially domestic violence. So I knew I wasn't going to get funding to have probation supervision or victim services because, I could go all day about how I feel about that, but frankly, if the money's not there, the money's not there. I wrote a federal grant and I get this full-time probation officer position. Fantastic, right? That is not what Heather does for me. No. I was also...
She's not of the confrontaand skill set to be a probation officer.
And it was a full-time position, and she has a full-time job. She is our director of CASA here, and it's very important. And I put
have no other staff, by the way. So I wear a lot of hats over there. Just saying. Like, I do. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Agreed. You like to be busy. So I hired a victim service coordinator. No more than 20 hours a week in terms of its funding. This is a grant, by the way, that technically legally only lasts 5 years. I can continue to reapply for it, and I hope to God that someone in at the federal level sees fit to continue funding it, because it's really doing some amazing good for people. And so I need to hire this position. You know how many people don't want a 20-hour-a-week job with no benefits in Hillsdale County?
Yeah, a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And
the only person who does seems to be Heather.
And so Heather,
I'm certified crazy.
It's not true. I did interview a few people.
Okay.
I wasn't getting what I was looking for.
Right.
And Heather sent me a private message. I've known her for quite some time from her doing CASA. And she said, have you filled that position yet? And I'm like, no, I can't find anybody qualified and nobody wants it.
Right.
And it's going to be a rough job, because you're going to be dealing with all of the victims' services in Hillsdale County, of which there are not a lot. And the ones that people do know about are also understaffed. Our amazing shelter, Domestic Harmony, I'm giving a plug to them because they're my partner. Yep. I adore them. Yep. And Heather says, I want to pick up a second job and I think I'd be good at this. What do you think? And I'm like, you're hired.
She was like, oh my God, I'm so happy right now.
And
like,
she's
which
like,
made
well,
me
do
happy.
you need me to interview? I'm like, sure.
Then she didn't even come to the interview.
What's your name?
I didn't come in the interview. I had her come in and interview with my court administrator, who really is the one who does all the HR.
I know, but it was
and I said, if you hate her, we won't hire her, but you're not going to hate her.
Right.
And she comes in and she goes, why does she want this job? She's super overqualified for it. I said, because she just wants the extra hours.
Yeah. No, but that's not true. Honestly, then I didn't need it as as far as a financial thing. Now I do.
I knew why you wanted to do that line of work, having been a survivor of domestic violence, but that's not something you had shared with other people.
Yeah,
so I wasn't going to go telling people
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't tell her. But I felt like it was good too, because it gets me into a whole nother line for networking purposes for CASA.
Yeah.
For more agencies to refer to for both jobs, right?
Yes,
and so then I find more people of more agencies that I can get to come in to talk to my CASAs, so then they can refer their families to their families that they're advocating for. You know.
I need you to tell people how they can become a CASA advocate, because
I
they are everywhere where our listeners are listening from.
This is I mean, obviously, since we had one in Kansas, this is national. There's some in every state. I think we have 29 counties in Michigan that have a CASA. But if all you have to do is just type wherever you're at, just type in National CASA, and it'll maybe National Court Appointed Special Advocates, because CASA houses might pop up.
Right.
Yeah, you never know. And then you can go right to there. They have a list of every state and every county. And what's been good for us is that the two counties next to us don't have one. But because we're so close, I can kind of recruit if I want. And because we don't have enough foster parents, which I'd also think we should plug.
I know.
Foster parents. We need foster parents.
Everywhere needs
God
foster
bless
parents.
the foster parents, because I get why I couldn't do
I know.
that. I don't say wouldn't, like I could.
You know what? I'm going to shake the gree for more foster parents.
Take all the babies.
Okay, yeah. So
that's how you become a CASA.
Yeah, you can look it up that way. But for us, like, I have a CASA volunteer training going on right now. They get sworn in on Thursday.
Awesome.
And like I said, you do not have to have any background.
No.
And I say that because I think a lot of people do think you have to have some sort of social work background or even teaching or anything. The first class I ever taught in 2017, it was the largest class I ever had. There were 12 people in there, which was cool. But I do like the smaller classes because I'll share a lot of my stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want to make it safe, because there's tends to be what I have found in all these years, two types of people that want to be CASAs. Ones that had a horrible childhood and could see the benefit if they would have had one. People that had a great childhood that didn't even realize. There's so many people that didn't realize this was that this stuff happened.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh my gosh, how can I help? You know?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the
and
thing
the time commitment is not that bad.
It's
you guys.
not. The training is the biggest time commitment. And so what I was going to say is my first training, so there's 12 people. We all go around and kind of talk about ourselves, and everyone in that room had, I'm a para or a teacher, or I'm used to be the daycare or whatever, so it was all like child related. And the last
and
girl,
helping professions.
Yes. And then the last girl goes, I'm a manager at Dollar General, and kind of like almost seemed like embarrassed. And I said, no, this is great. I said,
Tell me more.
This is exactly what we want, because
yes.
And she was awesome. She was like such a face for
Who
it.
sees more bullshit than the manager at Dollar General?
The manager at a Waffle House.
Well,
that's
her.
true.
I want her to be my casa.
Yeah, me
Yes.
too.
I want her
That
to be
woman
my
has seen
casa
some
if I'm
things.
involved
Tell
in
me
that.
that those people
I don't
can't.
want Judge Megan to be my casa. Fuck her. I want Dollar General Betty.
She's
Yes.
been in the field.
absolutely.
First of
In the
all,
trenches.
they can read people like you wouldn't believe.
Agreed.
Okay? They know the social situation that is
Have
happening.
you seen children coming through customer service before that you're like, that poor baby?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That
I
poor
think they
baby.
make just
Like,
as
you
many calls probably as teachers do. Or
Brilliant.
school
Yes.
staff do.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you
I love
have
that.
more diversity now in terms of your makeup?
You know, we're a really white county. So
Well,
as far as
diversity in terms
as I
of
say, in
racial,
far of race, no.
socioeconomic.
You're right, though. We are far too white.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I got hired in 2017, they said, "Hey, every
Hey,
volunteer,
minorities, move to Hillsdale County.
Please.
It's
move to us
lovely
and be a
here.
CASA volunteer."
It is, yes.
I think they had one man, and there were 9 volunteers at the time, and I think maybe 2 of them, including the male, were not retired. So they were like, we want younger people. We would love to have more men because, unfortunately, you know this, there's a lot of fathers missing.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's get that father
Yeah.
figure in there.
Male
right?
classes are so important.
Can I ask you, are there any parameters around disabilities? Like, if you are disabled and not working, are you able to be a CASA volunteer?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. We haven't we haven't had that issue, but I don't. As long as you can pass a background check, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
I'll drive you if you can't drive. I'll drive you to your CASA kid's house.
Yeah.
But you do
You know,
have,
like-
how many hours a month are you supposed to put in with your family,
So that's,
your assigned kid?
oh yeah, I guess we didn't finish talking about that. So the reason that CASA is here, there was a judge in Seattle who would stay up late at night because he couldn't sleep because every case would come, child abuse case would come to him with a different situation.
Been there.
But every caseworker would come with the same recommendations.
Yes.
Because there's like, a handful of caseworkers and 1 million cases, and they don't have time to devote the time that I know they would like to. This isn't a knock on caseworkers at all.
Making
Just so you
progress
know,
toward case service
there's only
plan.
so
Yeah.
many recommendations you can make.
And
There's
like,
also.
especially here in Hillsdale where we are just so under resourced. Like with my case, what did they want you to do? Nothing. Like you just had to get the bad guy out of there. Essentially.
Time to pass, apparently.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And so CASAs only take 1 case. So it's however many kids are in that family. I generally do 1 to 3 with my new guys. And if there's more than that, maybe we put 2 CASAs on, especially if they're new, because a lot of times they're in multiple placements. I don't want 1 CASA driving all over God's green earth trying to visit 6 kids. You know, that's not good for the kids or the CASA.
No.
So sometimes we'll team them up, but they are getting that info that the caseworker might not be able to get because they have all the time in the world compared to the caseworker, because this is my only case, even if they work, but when they're retired, even better, right? Because they have all the time. That's why they were all retired when I started.
Yeah.
The problem is I've been able to get a lot of younger people. My first year, I tripled our number. We don't have this number now, so it's kind of hard to talk about, but we went from 9 to 27.
Yeah.
We had a couple males. My husband was one of them. He ended up having to stop just because of work schedules, but he did a good job. He was there for like a year. He
It's
did a
okay
pretty
to
good
stop
job.
too. You can be
It
a
is.
CASA.
I
and
tell
when
them
you
that.
get burned out a little,
You have to
take a break.
Yeah, because that's only going to hurt the kid, not help the kid and you. And that's not what you signed up for. Men are hard because they're very black and white.
Yes.
So he and I would struggle.
He was tougher on the families than you were.
Why did this mom relapse and they're giving her another chance? You relapse, you lose your kids. Like that was essentially it.
Black
and I'm
and
like,
white.
I get it. And it wasn't like it was
Because
their
we
first.
can't terminate parental rights based off substance use alone in the state of Michigan. But
and
yeah.
I get it wasn't her first time relapsing,
I
so I
understand
understand where he's coming. This is like our 10th time, you know. And he would just get so fed up, and I see it. I understand. I totally get it, but I don't know. But I also say
But also, we can only control what we can control.
Exactly. And I think he'd be a different CASA now than he was as far as that stuff. I do think he would. He's grown a lot. That was many years ago. But what I was going to say is anyone that says, at least here in our county, and I'm willing to bet everywhere, that people get their kids taken away and get 0 chances to get them back have never been in the system, because they get more chances, at least here, than of anything. I mean, you get a year, essentially.
You do.
Our probate court judge has up into a year to change that right, or change the goal to termination.
Yes.
And if you're making significant, even if you don't make, I'm not
Take
trying
out the word significant.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give tips here, but even if you don't make progress for the first 6 months,
case by case.
It is. It's case by case. She can take.
She
can terminate or set it to terminate, and then you start making progress because that woke you up,
and she
can take it back.
Table.
Like
absolutely,
whatever. We all work differently. Sometimes you need that jolt. I don't know, but. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. Oh, so yeah, they get a lot of, and that's
there are a lot of chances. Honestly, I'll be
please.
completely transparent. Yeah. That's why I got out of CPS. I got sick and tired of feeling like the laws were written to protect the parents more than the children.
Yeah.
And so I moved on to licensing, where it's a lot easier because when you're taking care of other people's children, there's very little rope. And so I feel like I make a bigger impact. I like being able to make swift decisions.
Yeah. So
I'm resonating with what you're saying.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard.
And the caseworker's job is to try. Reunification is always the first goal, right? I mean, that's supposed to be always the first goal. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just not going to happen, but we want that if we can.
Yes.
So that worker's goal is to reunify. So therefore, he is working with the whole family as a unit.
Whereas
and
the
a lot
CASA
of times
volunteer
only works and advocates. I don't want to say only works with the child because you can work with the bio parents because that's going to help set them up for success. Sure.
Yeah. But your focus
is the
child.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so you're advocating for that child. You're essentially what I tell them if the kids are old enough to understand when you want to kind of explain what you do to them, you just say, I work for the judge. If there's anything you want that judge to know, you tell me and I'll make sure she knows. And they do. Like it'll be the most ridiculous stuff. Like one time she didn't put it in her report because it wouldn't have been appropriate, but she got up to talk and she said, my CASA kiddo's birthday is this weekend and she wants a pony and she wanted you to know. And I told her I'd tell you. And she said, good to know. Like, yes, you keep your promises. You keep showing up. And I think that's the biggest thing that we offer. I don't want to say a thing, but
service.
Thank you. Service is consistency. You keep showing up. Even if you don't feel like you're making any dent, any kind of, you say you're going to be there next week and you come back. And that's the thing. You have to visit every week. Mm-hmm. You're in that home more and around that child more than any other service provider, any counselor, and we do have a high turnover of counselors, a high turnover of caseworkers because we just do.
Burnout
it's a hard job. Yep. You don't get paid enough. You don't have enough time in the day to do everything you'd like to do. I wouldn't want that job. Like I totally
get it.
And the
best part about being a CASA is you don't get paid, period, because you're a volunteer.
You don't get paid
because you love children.
Yes. Which helps too because then the judge is like, she takes your report. You write a court report. It has to be fact-based, not opinion-based.
Correct.
So when they write their report, they send it to me and I can read it, and it's very easy for me because I don't even know what these kids look like unless you send a picture, which the judge does like a picture, and I like that too because it really puts, they're not just a name on a piece of paper, right? Yes. It really gets that emotion in there. But I can say, this sounds a little opinionated. What are you trying to say?
And we rephrase that.
Yeah,
honestly, that's my job now when I'm reading all these investigations. I'm like, ooh, opinion-based. Take that out.
And it's hard. Nope. How can you not,
it
right?
It has to be fact-based.
Especially if the parents aren't doing what they need to do. And that's the thing the CASA volunteers struggle with. We have a whole section on the minimum sufficient level of care.
Yes.
Which is
hard.
All that the parents, I say that, but the parents have to meet minimum sufficient level of care to get their children back.
Yep. Yes. And you know what? Mainstream society is not going to agree with this minimum level of sufficient care. Just so you know.
I was going to say, isn't it essentially it's have housing,
yes,
appropriate housing, transportation, which doesn't mean you have to have a car. You just have to have some sort of, a friend
and
or a
and that's only to meet
have hot water.
Exactly.
That's only to meet their needs.
Access to.
Yes. Yeah.
The transportation is only to meet their needs.
Yes.
So that is for purposes of going to regular doctor's appointments to get them to school.
Yeah.
That's not like meaning any sort of other type of
some kind of employment, some kind of income coming in.
So basically what I'm hearing is if you become a CASA volunteer, and let me emphasize the word volunteers, you're just basically going to be God's favorite after this.
Yes.
Because that's your reward.
Yes, because and I say that too. Most people volunteer because they want to feel good about it.
You don't.
And there are going to be days where you're not going to feel good. You're going to be pissed.
Yep.
You're going to be mad,
or you're going to sit in your car and cry.
And I tell when those happen.
Why am I doing this?
I know. And when those conversations happen, I say, because you can go to bed at night knowing that you advocated for this child.
No matter what happens.
You said everything you told that judge everything she needed to know. And after that, it's out of your hands.
Because we can only control what we can control, which is ourselves.
Exactly.
Only.
Yeah.
So you have to let go of everything
and it's
else
so
that you
hard.
can't control.
I'm not going to sit here and act like, God, just let it go. I would never.
Oh, no.
And that's my one thing, like part of the reason why I haven't advocated for myself to get like staff members so that I'm not doing all the jobs is because other than the actual books, like I love fundraising and stuff, but other than the actual books, I love every part of my job. Mm-hmm. But I love recruiting and teaching these people because I love meeting these people that want to do this. Like, come on, that's amazing. We have young people that want to do it. Mm-hmm. It's not just old retired people. You know, that's what they always say. Like, I'm old and retired.
Not
need
people
to, you know,
my age. It's young people.
just the young people. And they're just, I just love meeting them. And then yesterday I met with Judge and we went over potential cases and I could immediately say, I want to put this person on this case. This is going to be a great case for this person because I get to know them over this time with the training if they're open to sharing their stories, if they have one. And usually they are, which makes me feel good because I've obviously created a safe space where they feel like, of course, I never talk about my dad. I will say that I don't think I've ever talked about that in a training.
Okay.
But I have mentioned a couple times about what happened to Rachel. And then I do talk about like the traumatic childhood is with the mom with the drinking. And I think that's because.
Do you know why I love you?
Why?
Because you just talked about that from as in what happened to Rachel, not what happened to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just, again, it's just an acceptance on a different level that people don't know how to deal with.
Thanks for saying that. You're right. Well, and that's what I mean. I think part of the reason why I hesitated coming is because I feel like I don't want it to be like, I'm the victim. Look what happened to me.
No.
One thing my mom did not raise me to be is a victim. I will say that. Like she was tough. When she was sober, she was wonderful. And she was tough and she went through a lot of crap.
I think you gave an accurate depiction of what it's like to be Heather, who lives here with us in this small town and works for a really great nonprofit because of the things that she saw happen in her life. And that's really just the way to sum it up.
And you've just displayed your tremendous amount of resiliency. To just
Which is funny
through.
because it's kind of like, you know how when you're having a bad time and people say, gosh, I don't know how you do that. And you're like, because you just do. I just have to. So that's always been my attitude. Oh, really bad days.
I know.
Really bad days. But
you are
I don't give
so
up.
transparent about your bad days and you like don't hide stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I appreciate about you is, you know,
I
Heather,
trauma dump on Facebook.
It's okay. You're not offensive.
Actually,
you're not hurting anyone.
You said that you like to journal, and that is a form of journaling.
The reason I do it is because I know that a lot of people love to share the highlights. So look at my vacation and my new car, my beautiful house, and my perfect children, and my perfect life, and my skinny, wonderful diet, and my, and my dog that never has accidents in the house, and blah, blah, blah. And then people read that, and then they look at their lives, and they're like, oh my God, I'm losing at life. Why can't I be more like this person? Oh my God, I suck. I'm a terrible parent or whatever. And then you got me rolling in there being like, today sucked. I didn't want to get out of bed.
And then she ends with, and it's okay to feel like that. Tomorrow will be better.
Yeah. Right. And then I'll have people comment, or I'll have people. I do get a lot of people that will message me. That's why I keep doing it. Because I will say,
"Are you good?
Thank you so much for saying that. I'm feeling the same way, and I was feeling very alone." I said, "Hit me up anytime."
And you just never know when Spirit's gonna work through you to deliver messages.
That's true. Yeah. And what I was going to say is my favorite part of having this job is I can be that sounding board for these volunteers. You can say anything to me. You can say these parents are a piece of crap. Like they're not doing anything.
Listen, some of them fucking are.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge you. Please say it because you're not going to put that in your report, but you have to get it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to be more neutral and give the facts in your report because
this is why I feel like they're a piece of crap. But I'm not going to say they're a piece. She can figure that out reading my fact-based report.
Exactly.
But if you have to keep all that in, because you can't go home and tell your spouse about
it's confidential.
You can't do it. So you have no one to talk to but me.
Yep.
And so I love that. I love being able to do that.
I tell my staff all of the time, very much the same thing. Just get it out here because when you write your report, you are going to clear up the muddled bullshit that they just tried to spew at you with facts.
Yes.
That's how you're going to clean this mess up.
Yep.
So get out all the emotions on me right now.
Yep.
And then when you go to write your report, you're going to state the facts so that it makes it very clear to the judge what's going on here.
Yes.
Am I just traumatizing myself daily for nothing?
Yeah.
That is exactly what we're doing.
Yes. Well, yeah.
It's a good thing that ACE's score started at 0 for us, Charnel.
For sure. I still developed the dark humor coping mechanism anyway.
Through our jobs.
We sure did.
But when you get done listening, and you go do your ACEs score, if you have a high one, don't just throw that in the towel and be like, well, I'm destined for, because I did it.
Of how to overcome that.
And I do. Exactly. I share every time that we talk about it.
And if your ACEs score is 0, don't think that you don't still have shit.
Oh, 100%.
And that you can't still end up. You still have to do the right thing because it's right.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good point.
I know, but we still do the right thing because it's right.
For the most part.
And that's what we should do.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I was nervous, and this was really therapeutic.
So, and as I told you it would be.
I know. She's like, why are you nervous?
And also, this is step 1 because I see a bright future now that you have actually benefited from the way that it can feel to let your story out in one medium. Right? This is just one medium.
It is.
And I have a feeling that there are larger mediums available to you that you're going to utilize in the future, and it's going to be beautiful. And as you see my spectacles right here, I'm still willing to proofread and edit for you when you're ready to journal everything out.
Yeah, I definitely will. Because that's the thing at the end of the day. It's not like, oh, me. I want to talk about me. It's helping other people.
Yes.
And what I was going to say was
you do have a helping spirit, obviously.
I do. But I watch so many true crime documentaries, as I know you all do. And how many times do you hear anything about the perpetrator's family? It's unheard of. You don't, because that's not the point. We're talking about the victims and their family. And I don't want to take that away. But there's plenty of people that are victims, perpetrators' family members that are like, gosh,
that have suffered.
I'm sorry this happened to you.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not,
I'm really sorry that we all got affected by
somebody else's
actions of other people.
Yeah. Quick though, because we're a nonprofit, Giving Day is coming up, and most CASAs are nonprofits, no matter where they are. So if you are so inclined to want to help financially, you can look on that National CASA website, find the county you live in or the closest county, and you can see what they're doing for Giving Tuesday, and help.
Oh, wonderful!
Thank
you for that. Yes. Thank you for that.
I have a brain bath. I have for you. From the Facebook, 30 medieval insults that sound too polite to hurt.
Oh my gosh. Tell me how to insult people medievally.
Thou pribbling ill-natured knave, which is you petty, poorly raised fool.
You petty, poor-raised fool.
Too many words. I'll never remember it.
Hold on. For a sec, can we just say to someone, you petty, poor-raised fool?
No, that's rude. You have to say, thou pribbling ill-natured knave.
I'll never remember that. I'm just
going to... I don't know what knave means, so, fool, I guess.
Fool.
But I wouldn't have known, so I'd be like,
such a knave.
Thanks.
No.
What a knave.
Thou art as useless as a pewter sword.
Yes.
What do
you know what a pewter sword is?
You are completely ineffective.
Yes, because that's a training sword.
This is an easy one. Thy wits as sharp as a marble.
You are dumb.
Oh, you dumbass.
But this is my favorite. I bite my thumb at thee.
Oh, I'm going to flip you off?
It is the medieval version of flipping someone off.
Can you do that on the bench?
I bite my thumb at thee.
I bite my thumb at thee.
I'm just going to be like, Argh!
I'm going to do this to my husband next time here.
I'm going to be in the jury box.
Yeah.
And
you're like, well, she just bit the end of her thumb off. Thou be slubbering, beef-witted scullion.
Beef-witted sounds like
that mean you drooling meathead?
You slobbering, slow-witted kitchen servant.
I was close.
Jason, he's a scullery maid, remember?
Oh, right.
Thou art a plague sore upon humanity.
Oh my gosh. Sore? You basically are like the plague.
You are everyone's problem. Okay?
Oh my God, hold on.
You got to write these down.
You are everyone's problem. That in itself is a burn.
Great one. I love it.
The medieval version of girl, you a hot mess.
Okay.
Like a walking disaster is thou mangled not a foul deformity.
Thou mangled? Tell me it again.
Thou mangled not of foul deformity.
Thou mangled not of foul deformity.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We could be so proper. Can we say this shit with our pinky up?
Thou smellest of elderberries.
What?
Thou smellest of elderberries.
Do you stink?
You reek, and not in a noble way.
You need some deodorant.
Elderberry was the scent of the peasants.
The one you're everybody's problem reminds me of. Why are you like
this? Is that
this?
like today's patchouli?
I love patchouli.
Patchouli stink.
There are two people in the world. One who thinks patchouli smells good.
Yeah, they're all from Ann Arbor.
And two who thinks patchouli does not smell good. I
actually don't mind it. Thou art a toad-spotted miscreant.
Are you basically like the scum of the earth?
You are a villain covered in disgrace.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, yeah.
Toad. Look at the
Said
toad.
this one before. Thy brain is as dry as the remainder biscuit after voyage.
Yeah, you're a dumbass.
You are painfully dull.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
a
it's actually
like an unbuttered biscuit.
You know what? This is the type of person that you say, it should physically hurt to be this dumb.
Right.
Because it's physically hurting
I say
me.
that a lot when I drive.
Why is it not physically hurting you?
Thou art as loathsome as a toad.
Oh.
You
Yeah,
make me
yeah.
sick looking at you.
Yeah.
Thou,
You're homely.
thou mewling, onion-eyed hedge pig.
Onion-eyed?
Mewling? I would think that means that you're ugly.
You sniveling, ugly little creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like onions, so I second this.
Mules are not the prettiest to look at.
Away, ye goatish milk-livered knave.
Get the fuck away from
we know
me.
knave means
Get
fool.
lost, you cowardly fool.
Yeah. We learned a new language. Knave means fool.
Charnel is speaking medieval
got this.
vulgarity very
We know
well.
where she was in another life.
Wow.
Thou qualling, dog-hearted knave.
Oh,
Something
again,
cool.
a fool. So you're
you
just
whining,
you're
heartless rogue.
oh whining because of the dog. Yeah, you're a whining fool. Don't do my dog
I was
dirty
gonna say,
like
don't
that.
throw a
My
dog
husband
into
whines
it.
way more than my dogs do. For the record.
Same.
Thy face is not worth sunburning.
No,
You're not worth
You're
the
not
light of
worth
day.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
Thy face is not worth sunburning because
Thou-
it can cause cancer.
I like this one.
You're not worth it.
You knave.
Thou saucy, ill-breeding varlet.
You are a spicy harem.
You disrespectful, low-born rascal.
Oh,
is what
that's
it means.
you
Say it again.
disrespectful.
Thou saucy, ill-breeding varlet.
See, I would think saucy meant spicy.
Me too. An ill breeding.
Varlet.
Okay, so incest.
Varlet
You
is a rest.
ancestral, spicy, low life.
You could use that at the Dollar Tree. Or
I
that
just-
lady's
right.
I like these next two a lot. Thou art unfit to lick a leper's boot.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
you're so
You are
awful.
beneath the lowest.
so beneath. Yes. I
My
wouldn't even let you lick
ex-husband.
my boots. You cotton headed ninny muggins.
Thou art a boil on the face of virtue.
You are basically a boil of humanity. You're just like,
a
this
boil
pussing,
on my face.
this
You-
pussing member of society.
Ruin everything,
Everything.
pure.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean,
Why are
I
you
can
like
go, I
this?
can go on. There's like 30 of these guys.
This is amazing.
You're so
I
good
mean,
at it.
It's
Thou cocker dead bolted scullion. You spoiled.
Did you say cockered?
cockered?
what I really want to say
Thou
is you
cocker-
small penised asshole.
You spoiled thunderstruck servant.
Yeah.
You knave.
Oh,
Thou
you
art the
Thunderstruck.
mildew on mankind.
oh my God, you're basically the worst.
You're what ruins everything.
You are the worst.
I like it.
Would that I could forget thee as easily as thou forgottest sense.
You are so unforgettable.
I wish
I could forget you
was
as much
easy
as
as you
forget
forget
everything.
reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that sums up the political climate in the United States.
Right, exactly.
Number 30 for the win. That's where we are. I'm just going to save these for future use. We could
You
go on
should.
and on, but there
You
we
should.
are.
Okay. Thank
That
you.
was so good.
Again, thank you so much for joining and for allowing us to laugh along with also your story that was very impactful.
Thank you for
And
having me. I do appreciate
yes.
it, and I hope it helps somebody out there.
It will.
It's not all for naught, I promise.
Oh, I don't want to be a knave.
Headed ninny muggins.
There's only one cotton-headed ninny muggins on this show, and he's not here
not
tonight.
He is absent.
Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. We hope that you keep it curious.
Keep listening.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.